I'm betting that at least one person watching this video has played Mario Party. It doesn't matter which type, old or new, good or bad, you've gathered around with friends to collect stars and play video games. Or what's that, you haven't? Well, I think you're full of shit. It's a spin-off series that has been going strong for multiple years with around 18 games, and why wouldn't there be, with all the amount of fun access they bring? Maybe at the cost of a friendship or two.
Oh my god!
Man!
Jeez! Yeah. Come on! I want to use this fucking Lakitu!
Its success led to many different party games being made revolving around different popular well-known franchises. I remember as a child buying a copy of Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Wii, hating how it plays, and then putting some time into the party game mode. Another one I played was Wii Party, which I actually got a lot of fun out of growing up. Nowadays, it's quite hard to find the time to play these sorts of games because you need to find the right number of people and for them to be willing to pay $60 for a modern game they may play once or every few months. If only there was a cheap party game you could play online that replicates the amount of fun of the likes of Mario Party. You've read the title. Development for this game was done by, you guessed it, the developers known as Orange Juice. They were founded in 2004 and their main focus of development for a while was making games in the bullet hell genre, like QP shooting and Suguri. What we are interested in today though is the board game known as 100% Orange Juice, which came out in the year 2009, back when everything was a lot more peaceful and fewer people were getting into screaming matches online. At first, the game didn't receive enough attention upon launch in Japan. This later changed with its release in North America back in 2013. Later then being put onto the Steam where its success became well known. Funnily enough, a physical copy came out around in 2016, which honestly I wouldn't mind having. I'm going to have to explain the rules of the game, or more how an average game flows of Orange Juice plays out so you can get a better understanding of the game board. I'll try not to be too long or boring during this process. Before entering a game, players must choose their playable character as well as a handful of cards they have. Each character comes with their own stats in attack, defense, or evasion, which will be used in battles. More on that in a bit. Now that the game has officially started, the player's main goal is to obtain 10 stars and reach their own home tile or someone else's on the map. When the goal is achieved, one of the 5-star icons next to the person's corresponding icon will light up, indicating that a normal has been reached. Here, you are given the option to continue collecting stars or go for an alternative winning condition, being fights. You can enter combat on red tiles or by landing on tiles with other players on it. Fights are determined by dice rolls and whatever number you get is then added to your stats at the end, so when a player first attacks, the combined numbers will be added to the attack. Same applies for evasion and defense, and whoever comes out with the highest number wins the fight. The game wins, you must fully knock out the opponent, making the HP 0. The first person to reach 5 normal wins the game. Hooray! That's the basic knowledge a player will need to win the game. There are more mechanics that keep players surprised and filled with excitement. Yellow and blue tiles work similarly to the red and blue tiles in Mario Party, making you lose stars. Gaining more stars makes me happy, while losing stars makes me sad, especially if I have a double dice and end up losing 12 stars. Green tiles will give out 1 card. I assume this will be one of the cards you and your friends have chosen, so it will be taken out of the wider pile. There are different types of cards. Dash and Overtime give the player more dice so they can zip and zoom faster around the board. If you need to get out of a tight spot, or run away from a player stalking you, this is the perfect card. It's essentially a get out of jail free card. Pudding or Sucky's Cookie heals the player to various degrees. Cards can also be used to give you an advantage in battle. Trap cards can be used by setting them down on the tile you are on, and waiting for someone to land on it, ruining their game and probably retiring from the match. By far, the most interesting and fun mechanic in Orange Juice are the hyper cards. Each character comes with their own unique hyper card. This is when you have reached a particular normal count, can be used, and each has their own effects that spice up the board. Iru's hypercard is an extended photon rifle where you will proceed to shoot a player with your arm rifle. The number of times you can do this depends on your normal. You can see how something like this would be abused and be very, very overpowered, I'm sure. Here are 2 more hypercards I like. Ubiquitous is the hypercard for Mary Popo, who has really bad stats. Her card reads, warp to target active enemies panel in addition, steal stars equal to the enemy's level. Easily the best character for griefing. Finally, we have Binding Chains, used by Not Flandre, making your enemies skip their turn, even more devastating if the person playing has more than one of their hypercard. Yes, they can stack and people can just spam them over and over and over again. I didn't say this game was fair and balanced, you know. The hypercards are one of the best features of Orange Juice. Not only does it define a character's playstyle, but also gives them personality and depth. With Mario Party, you already have some perceived notions of the character's personalities. Or maybe you know more since you are a fan of the Mario franchise, that determines who you are likely going to pick when you play. For example, by looking at the character Starbreaker, I can know all about her in the name and playstyle. Being a Starbreaker, she is locked into Wind Normers, and takes people's stars by fighting other players. This can easily be done with the 2+ attack she has, not to mention the fact that she's probably a psychotic terrorist with the fact she's planting invisible bombs all over the field. You get my point. The last thing I will discuss is the in-game shop. By playing games and leveling up, you will unlock new characters, cosmetics, and personal stars and oranges tied to your account. You can spend these on a wide variety of cosmetics and outfits in the shops. This includes maps and more cards for you to play with. Every once in a while, the game has specific events with special currencies you can use in this shop to buy exclusive outfits. You can convert your oranges into these unique currencies to potentially buy as many items as you want. While the amount of DLC in this game can look overwhelming, the game and its DLC actually goes on sale quite often and is quite generous with its discounts, so you aren't breaking the bank collecting all the characters. To close, I would highly recommend giving 100% Orange Juice a try. It's a pretty small game in the fact that it's got not a lot of people playing it, mainly due to its age and it being a party game around the game board. It brings a lot of fun just like Lethal Company and Repo do. I hope you are willing to give this game a try.